It's time to look at 15 new Minecraft seeds that I think you really need to see. That includes a continent island with every single overworld structure on it, a Cherry Grove mountain circle that will also have the Dappled forest in the next update, an awesome Sulfur cave village, and the closest 12i end portal I've ever discovered. Of course, many more seeds too. So let's go ahead and find out if one of these seeds will be the one that you want to use for your next world. The woodland mansion in this seed is pretty hidden, and you may not even see it despite it being near spawn. I should also remind you that I play on Java Edition. Seeds on Java Edition and Bedrock Edition have parity for biome generation, but structure generation and locations are different. So you'll see very similar terrain and biomes on Bedrock Edition, but you will only see the structures I show on Java Edition. You spawn into the world here on the edge of a Jagged Peaks mountain range, and you can see lots of different jungle and forest type biomes around. Naturally, I'd probably head north along the mountain so I'd miss the mansion, but even if I were to head south, looking out over the water is super easy to miss the mansion too, unless you are right on the edge of the cliffs looking at a certain angle. But sincerely, this is one of my favorite places I've ever seen a woodland mansion generate. I mean, the fact that it's on a cliffside is awesome, and then throwing in a lush cave here is just incredible, plus this little waterfall flowing down onto the roof of the mansion looks pretty cool. Everything about this is just fantastic. And that's without mentioning the lush cave underground, where you can see the mansion foundation. Plus, having a couple of really cool looking villages, like this Pale Garden village, or this windswept mangrove village is pretty great too. But yeah, it may be easy to miss this hidden mansion near spawn, but I'm very happy I was able to find it. This little spawn mountain ring is going to get even better in the 26.3 update, well, that is if you like the Dappled forest biome. So here in the 26.2 version, we've got this pretty typical mountain bowl with the cherry grove and plains in the middle. I mean, that's always great to see of course, but in the snapshots for the upcoming update, that plains biome turns into a Dappled forest in this world. I think it's pretty cool seeing the cherry grove and Dappled forest next to each other. Also, I just want to mention my favorite thing about this seed is outside of the mountains, this little cave entrance leads right to a mine shaft. But yeah, maybe you want to load up this world in a snapshot or the next update and get a Dappled forest, or just use the seed now and have a nice cherry grove mountain ring at spawn. This is the closest working end portal to spawn in a Minecraft seed I've ever found. You may have seen recently I found one that was just over 500 blocks away from spawn, and this one is even closer. I've gone through a search of over 6,500,000 out of a total of 4.2 billion structure seeds, and I found 4,404 with working 12i portals, and this is so far the closest one to spawn. You spawn here in a savanna biome, and the easiest way to get to the stronghold is to travel directly west to the cherry grove. Then turn and travel directly south and you'll find your way to this big cave opening. Just drop down into the water and safely make your way into this middle section here, travel along the outside, and you'll find this spot which is clearly covering the stronghold. This dripstone cave just looks incredible by the way. I love when caves generate with the lava lakes at the bottom. But yeah, the portal in the stronghold is nearly full, but with the chunk generation conflictions, it's missing a bit here. It of course still works as a portal though, no different than normal. And from spawn, directly to the portal, it's about 375 blocks away. That makes this the closest working end portal I've found so far. And I'm getting closer to finding one under spawn, which hopefully one day I can. This Minecraft seed is genuinely great for a starter survival world. You spawn into the world in a forest and right next to you is a nice open plains biome. You can see that the plains is completely surrounded by the forest and there's a village here. I like this little spot here with the building covered in water and the easy access to a big cave. But yeah, this plains is absolutely the perfect place for a great spawn base area. If you travel out a bit further into this seed, you'll be able to find this woodland mansion. I mean, this is great, but I really wanted to share this because it's really close to a stronghold underground with a working 12i end portal. So you could skip many of the steps it'd take to get to the end. Also, I just need to mention the tons of lush caves around, including some spots that look absolutely incredible like this one. So if you're looking for a Minecraft starter seed, maybe this could be a great one for you. This week, I created a video for my channel members that has 5 seeds with 12i end portals. If you'd like to see that or some of my other members only content while helping support the channel a bit extra, go ahead and click the join button below. As always, thanks so much to all my channel members and to everyone for all the support you showed the channel. Another seed with a 12-eye portal coming in this video later on too, so stay tuned to see that. I found this pretty nice continent island seed. It's not like the biggest continent island, but it's got a lot of great features across it. For size perspective, it stretches about 3,100 blocks from north to south, and a bit under 2,000 blocks from east to west. That ends up being a total area of over 2,800,000 blocks. There's also forest and plains across the island, but we can also find a bit of cherry grove and swamp too. You can find 4 different villages across the island, along with some other structures like a pillager outpost, swamp hut, and some ruined portals. Not the biggest or grandest of continent islands I've ever found, but I like it a lot. Lots of space to explore, build, mine, or whatever else you do in Minecraft. There are 2 options you can have with this seed. You can generate the world now in 26.2 and have a village here, or you can hold on to this seed for 26.3 to get a dappled forest. You spawn into this world here in this absolutely perfect meadow biome. It's very flat and there's some small snowy mountains around. And of course, super close by, we have this area here. The river biome forms a circular area with an island in the middle, and here in 26.2, a village generates partly floating on it, with some of it also going up the cliffside. In the upcoming update and current snapshots, this island changes into being a small dappled forest. This area also has some pieces of dripstone on the cliffs in different areas, and the elevated terrain all around is pretty cool. So what do you prefer, the dappled forest or the village? This Minecraft seed has 2 mountain rings around spawn. The actual spawn is here on some of these frozen peaks, which make up the first mountain ring. Down in the middle valley of this one is a cherry grove, which is always a pretty popular biome to have in the middle of these. And I like this little dripstone crater on the mountainside here. The other mountain circle is just over to the southeast. This one is made up of some tall, jagged peaks that I think look pretty cool. In the middle of this one, we get a meadow biome, and there's a little dripstone crater here. Plus, we get this village here too, and it looks really cool going up the mountainside. The paths lead to this big cave here, which is pretty awesome too. All around, a pretty great Minecraft seed. I used to find a lot of seeds like this just because I think they look cool. Shipwrecks and outposts aren't really structures I do seed searches for very often, but I just really like when they're together on cliffsides like this. You spawn into the world here in a plains biome, and looking around and seeing all the biomes, especially the mountains, is actually pretty great. You'll probably get attacked by the pillagers, but you'll also quickly see the cages and the tent at the top of the cliffs too. And of course, down at the bottom of the cliffs, we get the rest of the outpost. And lodged into the middle of the cliffs, we've got the shipwreck. Honestly, my favorite thing about this is the mini cave that forms here too. So yeah man, maybe not like the greatest seed for survival or whatever, but sometimes I just like to find some things I think look pretty interesting. For every seed video I make, I also create a blog to go with it. It has all the coordinates to things I show in the video, and a button to easily copy the seed numbers. After watching the final 7 seed showcases in this video, go ahead and click the link in the description or pinned comment to check out the blog. Before the Minecraft 1.21.2 spawn algorithm changes, when I was searching for survival island seeds, I'd find a ton of seeds that would just spawn you in the ocean with no land anywhere around. That changed a ton because the spawn changes made it so you'd almost assuredly need to generate on actual land, not like ocean islands or just ocean. At least that's what I thought until I found this seed. You can see I spawned here in the water with no land in sight, except for an ocean island way off in the distance to the southeast. This happens because while this looks like ocean, it's not actually ocean. This spot is actually windswept savanna biome, so the game thinks there's supposed to be land here. You can see on the map that there should probably be an island here, but that's just not how it actually generates. Instead, you spawn into the world in a big ocean with the closest piece of mainland about 700 blocks away. I don't know, it was interesting to me, so I figured I'd share this random seed I found, or maybe somebody that wants like a challenge seed or something. I really don't know why villagers would decide to live here. You would think with all the sulfur around, it would just smell awful. Of course, most of the village spawns up normally in the savanna biome. We've got some windswept savanna nearby, there's another village to the north and another village to the west, so 3 villages near spawn. Plus we get a geyser right next to the village, and there's a spot of sulfur cave here too, which is pretty cool. But of course, my main reason for sharing this seed is the Sulfur crater with 3 different village houses generating in it. Like I said, doesn't make much sense for why they'd want to live directly in here with the smell of sulfur, but maybe they'd just be adjusted to it. I mean, it does look really cool seeing a village in a place like this for sure. I found this seed with a pretty big mushroom island. You spawn into the world here in an oceanside forest. This little plain spot nearby could be a nice place for an early base, and you can see the mushroom island in the distance depending on your render distance. So the mushroom island is super close to spawn to travel to, and actually, fun fact, at one point, I found the biggest mushroom island ever discovered, and I didn't even know. That record is long gone from me now, but you should go watch Show Me 7 in Minecraft at Home's video about the biggest mushroom islands ever found. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, the mushroom island in this seed is really big too, nowhere near that record though. There's a couple of other things I really want to share about this seed too. Like, we have this mountain here with a big cave opening on the side of it that looks pretty interesting. And if you travel out to the stronghold, you'll find a 12-eye end portal, which is a very rare thing in Minecraft. The stronghold is connected to a mine shaft, which is pretty cool too, and it's below a lush cave. Just lots of really interesting things in this seed. Check out this lake seed that I found, and look at it in the snapshots for the Minecraft 26.3 update. Yeah, here in 26.2 currently, we get this deep lake, and it looks absolutely incredible as it is. We get a ruined portal floating on it, all around just looks incredible. But in the snapshots for the new update, there's also the new abandoned camp floating on it. One of the more interesting places I've seen an abandoned camp generate so far. Like, somebody went out here at some point to camp, like I was watching one of those camping YouTube channels or something. I always just really like finding lakes with structures floating on them. If you just want all of the Minecraft biomes near spawn, you should give this seed a try. It really makes it easy to grab some of the materials if that's your main goal. You spawn into the world here in a forest biome that's pretty close to an ocean and near a plains biome. When traveling to all the different biomes, you'll notice that some of them end up pretty small in order to fit them under the 1500 block distance range of the world origin. Just a few examples of the small biomes are the Pale Garden, Cherry Grove, Mushroom Island, and Ice Spikes biomes. But regardless, still every biome within less than 1500 or so blocks, so a great option for a seed if you'd like something like that. This seed has a Cherry Grove ring in it, and it may not even be my favorite thing about the world. The spawn is here in a small plains biome near a jungle, savanna, and forest. Going up on the elevated forest will lead you towards the Cherry Grove ring. It's not a surprise that I've always liked finding these pieces of bowl-type terrain. The plains area in the middle is just really awesome for building with all the Cherry Grove cliffs around. But as I said, this may not even be my favorite thing about this seed, because if you travel out to this stronghold, you'll be able to find this 12-eye end portal. These are always awesome, because there's only a 1 in a trillion chance for all 12 end portal frames to contain an Eye of Ender. So truly a rare find, and some of my favorite things to find in Minecraft. So this is really cool, and the Cherry Grove ring near spawn is too. Lately, I've been showing lots of those all biome continent island seeds, so I wanted to change it up a bit and find one with all structures on it instead. So this continent island has every single possible overworld structure on it, both above and below ground. The island is pretty big, with it being over 5,000 blocks across from north to south and over 3,000 blocks from east to west, for a total area of over 9,200,000 blocks. You spawn into the world in a jungle, so you'll be able to find some jungle temples nearby. And then of course, across the continent, you'll be able to find all of the other above ground structures, with the villages, desert temples, and desert wells, the witch hut, woodland mansion, igloo, ruined portal, pillager outpost, and the abandoned camp coming in 26.3. Underground, you can find an ancient city, a couple of different strongholds, trail ruins, trial chambers, and buried treasure if you want to count that as a structure. And then out in the ocean around the island, you can of course find some ocean monuments, shipwrecks, and ocean ruins. I guess the only thing it's really missing in terms of structures is different variants like a taiga village. But yeah, pretty cool having all the different structures on this one continent island. If you'd like to see some more Minecraft seeds I found, check out one of the videos on screen now. Also, check out the mystery seed that you can see on screen now too for something I haven't shown in a video. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I'm out of here. See ya.